Module 5, Lesson 11's objective is to compare unit fractions with different sized models representing the whole. The directions say, label the unit fraction. In each blank, draw and label the same whole with a shaded unit fraction that makes the sentence true. There is more than one correct way to make the sentence true. I'll go ahead and underline the important details in the directions. Label the unit fraction. Draw and label the same whole with a shaded unit fraction that makes the sentence true. I'm going to highlight the last sentence. There is more than one correct way to make the sentence true. The reason I highlighted that is to remind myself that the answer I put may be different from the answer one of my classmates puts, because there is more than one correct way to make the sentence true. Looking at the sample, I can see in the first column a rectangle that has 3 equal parts in all, and one of them shaded. 1 out of 3 is shaded, or 1/3 of the rectangle is shaded. In the third column, I can see another rectangle that's about the same size, but this time there are only 2 equal parts, and one of them is shaded, or 1 out of 2 is shaded, 1/2. The sentence says 1/3 is less than 1/2. You can tell that's true because the portion of the rectangle that is shaded is smaller in the first column than in the last column. Let's look at item 1. The first thing I need to do is label the unit fraction. I'll go ahead and count the number of equal pieces there are in this rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 equal pieces, so I know that the number 8 goes in on the bottom of my unit fraction. Now I will count how many pieces are shaded. 1 piece is shaded, or 1 out of 8 is shaded. 1/8 of the rectangle is shaded. Each piece of the rectangle is 1/8 of the whole. Now the sentence says 1/8 is greater than blank. When trying to decide what is the correct answer to draw in the final column, I need to think about the rectangle that's drawn there. If I have 8 pieces, and I'm trying to figure out how to make a rectangle that has smaller pieces than that, I have to think about dividing the rectangle into smaller pieces or into more pieces. Because if you have a whole and you have to divide it up in order to equally share it with more people, the pieces get smaller. So 1/8 has to be the big piece because the sentence says 1/8 is greater than. So whatever we draw in the final box on line 1 has to be a smaller piece than 1/8. I will go ahead and try to draw a rectangle that is similar in size as the one shown in the first column. That one is divided into 8 pieces. I think I'll go ahead and divide this one into 10 pieces because I know that if I take that same rectangle and I divide it into 10 pieces, the pieces will be smaller than if I divided it only into 8 pieces. Now I have 10 pieces, but I better double check my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 pieces in all. I'll go ahead and shade in one just like they did in the first column. Now I have 1 out of the 10 shaded. As you can see from the illustration, the piece in the rectangle that is worth 1/8 is slightly larger than the piece that is only worth 1/10. Now let's look at row 2. In the first column, you see a square. We need to label the unit fraction. In order to do that, we need to figure out how many pieces there are in the square. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 equal pieces in the square, so I'll put a 4 on the bottom of my fraction. Now I will figure out how many pieces are shaded. 1. 1 out of 4 is shaded. So 1/4 is the unit fraction. Now let's look at the sentence. 1/4 is less than blank. This time, the box that has the square with 1/4 is the illustration that with the smaller amount, because it says is less than. So in the final column, I'll draw the same square, but I have to think of a way to divide that same square into pieces that are larger than 1/4. Well, I know that if I'm sharing that square in the first column, I'm sharing it with 4 people. Each person gets 1/4 of the square. But if I want to have larger pieces, then I need to share my square with less people. So I'll go ahead and just share this square with 2 people. And I'll shade in 1 portion. Now I have 2 pieces that are equal size, and only 1 is shaded, or 1 out of 2, 1/2. As you can see, more of the square is shaded in the third column than in the first column. So 1/4 is less than 1/2. That matches. That matches the sentence. It makes the sentence true. Now let's look at item 3. The first thing we'll do is label the unit fraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 pieces in all, so the 10 goes on the bottom of the fraction. Now we count how many are shaded. 1 out of 10, or 1/10, is shaded. So 1/10 is greater than what? This is where you need to figure out what you're going to put in the third column. You need to make the same rectangle and figure out how many pieces there will be in this rectangle that make the sentence true. If 1/10 is greater than the fraction you're going to make in the third column, that means you need to divide your rectangle into more than 10 pieces, and then shade in 1 portion and write your fraction. I'm going to let you finish item 3 on your own, and then do all of 4 on your own. Remember, step by step, follow the directions. First, label the unit fraction. Don't forget to make a little mark on each portion of the whole, so that way you know you didn't skip a piece or count one twice. Then circle the part that is shaded and put it on the top. Then you have to decide what you're going to draw in the third column that will make the sentence true. Again, even though you drew it, go ahead and make a mark on each piece so that you can double check your work. Good luck!